I'm going to have everybody start out on their backs. So you're going to lie back and you can lie with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. This is really helpful if you have low back discomfort. You also, you're welcome to have a pillow or a blanket with you at any point in time when we're doing yoga. And if you do have something like that and you want to put it underneath your knees and straighten your legs out just a little bit more, that's another option. Or you can come into just fully lying supine on your back with the legs straight and the arms straight and the palms facing up. And then you are going to close your eyes. And one thing I like to do first thing with every class is to start with 3 cleansing breaths. So 3 times, you're going to breathe in through your nose. You're going to open your mouth and give a really big, deep sigh out through the mouth. And just remember that you are on mute. So you can make that sigh as loud as you want it to be. Just really let go. And after you finish those 3 sighs, you have plenty of time if you're taking them nice and slow. You'll just start to breathe in and out through the nose. And we're going to talk a little bit about Ujjayi breathing this morning. So again, eyes are closed. Breath is just moving in and out through the nose and the mouth is closed. If you're already familiar with Ujjayi breathing, you can go ahead and start to engage that now. But a way that you can start to feel what this breathwork technique is like is keeping the lips closed. It's like you're saying the word ha, but again, the lips stay closed. And you do that on the exhalation. And what you're going to notice is there is this slight constriction that occurs in the throat. You'll also notice that you can hear the breath a little more profoundly as that constriction in the throat takes place. One of the things this does is it helps to tone the neck, the vocal cords, but it also helps you stay connected to your breath because you can feel it, you can hear it. And then the next step for that is once you get to understand how that very slight constriction in the throat works, you can try to maintain that as you breathe in. So just slowing down the breath. And without doing any sort of counting necessarily, perhaps you just recognize for yourself if your inhalation or your exhalation is longer, or maybe they're the same length. And just kind of observing that, becoming aware. And then one more thing to become aware of in regards to the breath is if there are any natural pauses. So in yoga, we call these retentions. And they would typically occur at the very top of the inhalation or at the very bottom of the exhalation. You may find that you're experiencing those retentions, or you may find that you are not, and the breath is just continuously flowing in and out, back in and back out. There's no right, there's no wrong. And you're just becoming aware. Now, you are welcome to continue to use this Ujjayi breath even as we're moving. It helps you stay really connected into the present moment here. And you might find that as we start moving around a lot, perhaps you forget about that Ujjayi breath. And when it comes back into your consciousness, you might decide to pick it back up. And now, this next part, we're just going to hug our knees into our chest. You can keep your eyes closed for this. If you prefer to open them, you can open them as well. It's really totally up to you. The knees are going to draw into the chest. Maybe give them a nice tight squeeze and just rock a little bit side to side. I really like starting class this way because it gives you a nice release through the low back. It's also a closed pose, which actually helps to ground you a little bit more. And then you're going to start to just kind of roll those knees in circles. So you can keep your hands on your kneecaps. If you want a little more challenge in the abdominal area, then maybe your arms come down to the floor and you use the abdominals to move the knees in circles. Another thing you might notice if you're wanting that added challenge, if your circle is bigger, it's more challenging. And then we're going to reverse that circle. We're just going to move it around other direction. Lovely. All righty. Go ahead and place both your feet down on the mat. And you want your feet at least hip distance apart, if not as wide as your mat, if that's comfortable for you. And I want you to flex your feet. So that means everything except for the heels lift up off the floor. And we're just going to windshield wiper the knees side to side. So getting into that low back again, a little bit deeper this time. Now, if you're looking for a stretch like in your quad or your hip flexor, this is the front of the thigh area, then for instance, if your knees are dropping to the left, I want you to take your right knee and push it away from the body, like it's going to touch the wall on the other side of the room. You might even kind of linger there for a moment and just feel that stretch, and then you'll come back up. And if the knees are dropping to the right, then same thing. This time with the left leg, just pushing that knee away from the body. The left buttock will lift a little bit, and you'll find that you're going to start to get a pretty nice stretch in that hip flexor. A lot of us are usually pretty tight in that area. And then just bringing yourself all the way back to center, walk those feet so they're now hip distance apart. Knees are bent. And we're going to do one arm at a time here. So you're going to reach your right arm up over your head. Maybe your thumb touches the floor above the head. Maybe it doesn't matter. And as you exhale, you're going to bring the hand back down, let the pinky touch the floor, and you're going to keep moving with your breath. So as you inhale, arm up and over. As you exhale, arm over and down. We're doing a lot of upper body work today, lots of stretching in the upper body. Good. Let's do one more. And once that arm comes back down towards the floor, just flip the palm down and then go to the left side. So you're going to inhale. Now that left arm's going to reach up towards the ceiling, maybe over the head. Maybe the thumb touches the floor. Maybe it doesn't. And just moving with your breath, your pace. So one of my favorite sayings, and you'll hear me say this a lot, especially if you take my class a lot, is we are bilateral beings. We are not symmetrical, right? So one side is most likely, very often, going to be different than the other side. You might find you have a lot of range of motion on the right or the left, and then the other side you feel more restricted, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just something that you observe and you notice. One more here. And then once that left arm comes down, you're going to do both arms at the same time now. So you inhale, you're reaching both arms up and over. Maybe they touch the floor, maybe they don't. Who cares, right? And then the pinkies come down by the sides on the exhale. Beautiful. Just kind of warming up the shoulders, getting a little stretch in the chest. Good. And we're going to do one more. Lovely. After you finish that, one more. I want you to bring your arms kind of out to your sides. The elbows are bent and the palms are going to face up towards the ceiling here. And I call these snow angel arms. So it's kind of like you're making a snow angel outside. And you're trying to keep your fingernails on the floor as long as you can. All right. So you're just going to inhale and you're going to reach those arms up over the head. Maybe the fingertips touch, maybe they don't. And then you're going to exhale and you're just going to bring those arms back down towards the hips. Again, knowing one side might feel different than the other side. Just kind of observing that, being okay with that. Maybe as you're doing this, you tap into your Ujjayi breath. Good. We're going to do one more. And then I'm going to have you bring your arms over your head just to a point where you're comfortable. Okay. So maybe you're kind of like in a field goal kind of position since the Super Bowl's coming up, right? So maybe the elbows are kind of in line with the shoulders, elbows are bent, and you're just going to relax the arms. If that feels okay in your chest, then perhaps you bring the hands above the head a little bit more. And again, you're just going to relax the arms. So I don't want you engaging any muscles here. And you're going to take three more sighs, just like we started. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable. You're just going to inhale deeply through the nose. You're going to open the mouth and give it a nice big sigh. And I want you to do that 3 times. Beautiful. Slowly just bring those arms back down by your sides here. And you are going to roll over onto your right side. And with yourself on the right side, you're actually going to reach your right arm out in front of you. It's kind of in line here with your shoulder. Palm's going to face up. And then you're going to take your left hand in that right palm. And we're going to do it's a nice little chest stretch. So as you're inhaling, you're going to slide those left fingertips up the arm across the chest. You're going to open up and reach that left arm out to the side. So you kind of come into this twisted T shape. And then you're going to exhale. You're going to bring that left arm up over the head and then back to the right hand. And you just repeat your breath, your pace. So you're inhaling, reaching the arm across the body, opening up to this nice T stretch. And then exhaling, bringing that arm all the way back around. And so for my count here, we're going to do one more. And then after you do that one more, you're actually going to stay on your side, but you're going to come up onto your forearm, your right forearm. And have your knees bent. Your knees are going to be just a little bit in line with your hips. Okay. And you're looking down, your elbows below your shoulder here. So I'm going to give you two options. You can just do the arm movement for this, or if you want to lift the hips and come into kind of like a side plank on your knees, you're welcome to do that. Okay. So you're going to start out left hand on top of your thigh. And as you inhale, you're going to reach that left arm up. Maybe it comes over the head, maybe it doesn't. Then as you breathe out, you're going to bring it all the way back to the legs. If you want to incorporate lifting the hips, then as you inhale, you're pressing the forearm down, you're pressing the knees down, you lift the arm, you lift the hips. And then as you exhale, you bring yourself back to that starting position. Okay. Do what you feel comfortable with. Right? It's okay if your left arm doesn't go over your head. Maybe you lift up and the left arm goes towards the ceiling. Right? Maybe there's tightness in that side chest area. So just listen to your body. Don't do anything that doesn't feel good. Something being challenging and hard is different than something being painful. So just knowing that difference. Good. I'm going to do one more on my count. Lovely. Then we're going to do those same two exercises, but on the left side. So you are going to come onto your left side. And we're going to come to that nice little T stretch first. So you're on your left side. Your left arm is out. Palm is facing up. Your right hand is in that left palm. And then when you're ready, you're just going to inhale, slide that right arm, over the chest, open up into this nice T stretch. And then take that right arm up around the head and then back to the left hand. Right. So as usual, your breath, your pace. We all kind of breathe at different rates. That also changes throughout the day. Something I always try to remind people of is this is your practice. This isn't my practice. It's nobody else's practice that's in class with us. It's your practice. I'm just here to guide you. You do what feels good. We're going to do one more of these little T stretches. And then we're going to come up onto the forearm, right? Do kind of the same thing that we did on the other side. So it is very important that your elbow is below your shoulder so they're in a nice line with one another. Left palm is on the floor. And you're just going to take your right hand onto that right thigh. Just start this side with the arm for one time. Just kind of notice where your range of motion is. Inhaling as the arm comes up, exhaling as it goes down. If you want more, then you can lift the hips, coming into a little bit of a side plank. Inhaling, the hips lift. Exhaling as you bring it back down. Okay. Been working on legs and hips a lot in this class recently. So decided we were going to change it up. We're still getting some work in the legs, but more of an upper body focus. Beautiful. Let's do one more. Awesome. So from here, you are going to come onto the hands and knees and come right into a child's pose. So child's pose, your big toes touch. Your knees are wide. Like I bring my knees about as wide as my mat. And you're going to drop your hips back towards your feet. Reach the arms out and let your head rest on the mat. Now, I will say that if you need to modify this, like if your knees are screaming at you and saying, "This is not happening today," then you can take a pillow or a blanket and kind of put it behind the knee in between the calf and the thigh, and then bring yourself back. That will take some of that pinch away. Alternatively, if the floor seems really far away from you, you can take a pillow or a blanket, fold it up, and you can kind of lay your chest on the floor, and that will help bring the floor a little bit closer to you. Now, this can be a relaxed child's pose. Your arms are just relaxed and heavy. If you want it to be an active child's pose, you're going to start to walk your fingertips forward, kind of creep them forward. And when you feel like they've gone forward enough, press the palms down and forward to bring your hips back towards your heels and give you a bigger stretch. If that doesn't feel good, just go back to a relaxed child's pose. So anytime we're in any type of a forward fold, which this is, I love to recommend deep breaths. I like to recommend sighs, right? So just kind of play around with your breath a little bit. You'll notice that the breath will come into the back body a lot more when you're in a forward fold. So you get to open up the back rib cage. Good. So you're gonna release this. Keep your knees wide and your toes together. But you're gonna come up onto your knees and then also up onto your hands. And we're just gonna take some circles, right? Circles with the hips here. You want to kind of let your ribs and your torso move around a little bit as you do that. Maybe as the circle goes to the left, you bow your left ribs out. Same on the right. You can do that. Do whatever feels nice. Stretch what needs to be stretched. And of course, you're going to reverse that circle other direction. So I'm a Libra and I am very particular about things being even on each side. So we will always go both directions. Good. All right, you're coming back to child's pose. And we're going to get a little side body stretch in now. So you are going to take your hands, walk them over to the right, like they might come off your mat. That's fine. Bring your head with you and let your head drop. So here are the stretches in the left side body. Okay. If you want to deepen this stretch, you simply reach your left fingertips further towards the right. And again, I recommend some really deep breaths here. You're going to feel the breath really open up on that left side body. And then we're going to go to the other side. So walking the hands to center and then just walking them over to the left side. But now the stretch is in the right side body. So the head comes down to the floor. And if you want a deeper stretch, you're reaching those right fingertips to the left a little bit more. But take those big breaths. Good. Bring yourself back to center. You're coming back up onto hands and knees, but this time bring your knees so that they're under your hips. Toes are not touching anymore. So we call this tabletop. Excuse me. And just want to take a few cat cows. Okay, so cat cow, you move with your breath. When you breathe out, your tailbone is going to drop and you're going to round your back, kind of one vertebra at a time, and then your head is going to drop. And then when you breathe in, you reverse it. You're going to lift your tailbone, arch your back one vertebra at a time, and then let your head lift. Your chest can come forward. So just moving through your cat, your cow. And then coming back to a nice neutral tabletop. So where your back's not arched, the back's not rounded, just right in the middle. And then we'll move into spinal balance. Lots of options for spinal balance. So start out with your right leg behind you. You can tuck your toes under and just kind of push back through your heel. You actually get a nice calf stretch with that. You want a little more challenge, then you're going to work on lifting that right leg up into the air. Flex the foot. If you want even more challenge, a lot on your balance, reach your left arm towards the wall on the other side of the room. So think a bicep near ear. So it's right leg, left arm. And then you extend out, right? Extend through the fingertips, extend through the heel. Find that ujjayi breath. And then bring yourself all the way back to tabletop. And then we're going to do it on the other side. So start with the left leg back, tuck the toes under, push through the heel. Notice how that feels. If you want a little more, you're lifting that left leg into the air, foot is still flexed. And then again, if you want even more, reach that right arm out in front of you. Think bicep near your ear. And then you're really extending, right? You push through the heel, you reach through the fingertips. The belly is strong. Beautiful. Bring it back to center. We're going to do that one more time each side. So go to whatever of those positions that you want to do. Good. So if you have either your leg or your arm are both lifted, then you're going to exhale. You're going to tap the toes and fingers down. You're going to inhale. You're going to lift back up. So if just the leg is lifted, then you tap the toes and you lift back up. Good. Bring yourself back to center. We're going to be off our wrist in just a moment. Come back to your spinal balance on this other side. And then if anything is lifted, you're going to exhale. You're going to tap it down. And you're going to lift back up on the inhalation. And then you're going to release that and make your way up to stand. So however you get up to stand, do it. And grab some water if you want some water. I know I do. Anytime we transition from standing to sitting, or sitting to standing, I always like to have you drink some water, but you can do that anytime. Good. All right. Perfect. So you're just going to stand comfortably. We're going to do a standing half moon stretch, right? So you're just going to inhale. You're going to reach your arms up, grab your left wrist, your right hand, push your left hip out to the side, but reach the arms to the right. Nice side bodies. If this is too much stretch, like bring your arms more in front of your face, and a lot of that stretch will become a lot lighter. Good. Bring yourself back up to center. Switch sides. Grab the right wrist. Reach the hips out to the right. Extend the hands over to the left. If it's too much stretch, again, just bring the arms down closer to in front of your face. Takes a lot of that stretch away. Beautiful. Bring yourself all the way back up. Release those arms. We're gonna do a little back shoulder stretch. You're gonna reach your left arm across your body, take your right hand, kind of grab your tricep, and just kind of pull the arm in and towards your body. And then breathe deep into this part. Okay. Like a breathing deep into that left shoulder blade. Good. Release that. Switch sides. Right arm across the body. Left hand's going to grab that right upper arm and just bring the arm in towards the body a little bit. And so now you're breathing into the right shoulder blade, that right upper back area. Good. Release it. Just roll those shoulders out a couple of times. Beautiful. All righty. So come to the top of your mat. And we're going to do a couple sun salutations. I do modify them in this class. I do not typically do planks, chaturangas, or downward facing dog. So the first couple we'll go through slow, and we typically will add on as we go. So you're going to inhale, reach the arms up nice and high. As you exhale, you're going to round your back, let your head drop, let your arms drop. On an inhalation, take your hands to your legs, maybe the shins or the thighs, and you're going to lift up with a little flat back. We call this half lift. And then as you exhale, you're going to round the back again, let the head drop, let the arms become heavy. And then on an inhalation, it's called reverse swan dive. So the arms reach out to the side like a T, and then you inhale, you lift all the way up to stand. Arms come up above the head. And then you exhale and you take it back to the heart. Okay, so we're going to do another one really slow, just like that. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold, round the back, let the head drop. Arms are heavy. Halfway lift, inhale, place your hands on your legs. Just lift the chest so you have a little bit of a flat back here. And then as you exhale, round the back again, drop the head, forward fold. And then inhale, arms out to the side, come all the way up to stand. Arms above the head. Exhale, take it to the heart. Good, we're gonna do that just like that again, but a little bit faster tempo. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, rise and shine, bring it all the way up. Exhale, take it to the heart. Love it. One more, inhale, reach. Good, exhale, fold, drop the head. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, rise and shine, bring it up. Exhale, take it to the heart. Good, step back into warrior one, stepping back with your left foot. So right foot stays forward, left foot is gonna step towards the back of the mat. Your toes are pointing not all the way to the side, kind of diagonal up. And you're gonna bend your right knee. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. When your right knee is bent, you want to look down and your knee should be pointing to your second and your third toe. You do not want it pointing towards the big toe. So you want to be able to see your big toe. And then you're going to push back a lot with the left leg. So the left leg pushes back, the left heel pushes down. And then maybe you keep your hands on your hips. Maybe you reach the arms out if you want a little more. Or maybe you lift the arms up above the head. Again, think bicep near ears. If you want the most challenge. It's the full expression of the pose. Notice if that left leg is getting kind of weak again, push it back. The left leg is what is going to help keep that right leg so it doesn't get tired. Beautiful. Go ahead and take those arms down. You're going to hop your left foot forward. Come down into a forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Bring it all the way up. Rise and shine. Exhale, take it to the heart. Step back with your right foot, warrior one. So now the left leg is in the front, right leg's in the back. Check out your knee alignment. You should be able to see your left big toe, uber important. And then push back a lot with that right leg, like a lot. Push it back. The thighs pushing back, the right heel's pushing down, toes are kind of diagonally forward. And then determine where do you want your hands. So maybe you're on your hips, maybe you're out to the side, maybe the arms are up. That part really doesn't matter as much, okay? The knee alignment matters a lot, and what's going on with this right leg. Keep it strong. That matters a lot. Maybe you find that Ujjayi breath. Beautiful. You're going to bring those arms down, hop that right leg forward. Exhale, come into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, rise and shine. Bring it up. And exhale, take it to the heart. Love it. Come to the center of your mat. Bring your feet really wide. Wider than you probably think you should have them. And have your toes pointing towards the side of the mat. Setting you up for little warrior two here. Okay. So you're going to keep your left foot where it is. I want you to turn your whole right foot and right leg towards the skinny side of your mat. And then bend your right knee. Keep your chest and your hips facing towards the long side of the mat. Reach the arms up and then look over the right middle finger. So this is warrior two pose. Check out your knee alignment, of course. So you're looking at your right big toe. You should be able to see it. The knees pointing to the second and the third toe on that right foot. And the legs are really strong. Feel like you're pressing energy down through your feet to lift the chest up. Reach through those fingertips. Good. Take those arms down. Bring the right foot so the toes are pointing towards the long edge of the mat. Switch sides. Left toes towards the short edge of the mat. Bend your left knee. Warrior two, other side. Good. Looking over that left middle finger. And then also make sure your knee alignment is the way that it should be. Make sure you can see that left big toe. Breathe. Right. Really press energy down through your feet like you're mad at somebody and you're stomping your feet down into the floor, right? Push that down, and that gives the ability for the upper body to feel light. Beautiful. Take the arms down, straighten the left leg. We're going back to the right side. So left toes to the long edge of the mat, right toes to the short edge of the mat. Bend your right knee. Lift your arms. Good. So you can stay here and work on just kind of this strength in the legs, or if you want to come into side angle, then you can do that. So your right forearm is going to drop down onto your right thigh. Your left arm, it might stay out to the side. You might lift the palm towards the ceiling. You might lift your arm up towards the ceiling. You might lift your arm up over your head. Okay. So you got lots of options here. You might be hanging in warrior two. Okay? You might have your arm up to the ceiling, over the head. It might be towards the back wall. Lots of options. Good. Bring yourself back to warrior two. Love it. Bring the arms down. Last time, switching sides. Right toes towards the long edge of the mat. Left toes towards the short edge of the mat. Bend your left knee. Check out your knee alignment. Lift the arms, right? Chest and hips facing towards that long edge of the mat. You can stay here, work here, okay? Or come to side angle. So left forearm kind of drops down onto this thigh. Maybe that right arm reaches towards the back wall. Maybe it reaches towards the ceiling. Maybe it reaches up over the head. And again, think bicep near ear. You're doing that. And yeah, just breathe, 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 breathe. Awesome. Bring it all the way back up, warrior two. That left leg should be feeling nice and toasty. Good. Straighten that left leg. And you just, as we say in yoga, heel toe the feet back together. So you just scooch the feet back towards one another. All right. So we are going to do, a tree pose. And then we'll get back down on the floor. So tree pose is a balance pose. You do have the option of leaning against a wall, right? To come into tree pose if you want to. If you want to use your body as balance, don't lean against the wall. But we're going to stand on our left foot first. Okay, so I'm going to lift my pant legs a little bit so you can see better. And your right leg, option one, toes are on the floor, heel is coming just over the left ankle. Option two, so your right foot might come to the side of the calf, knees out to the side. Option three is that the foot comes to the inner thigh, and then the hands come to heart center. Right? If you're feeling really balanced, you might reach the arms up into the air. So there's, again, just a ton of different places where you might be right now. All trees look a little different, right? And then you slowly release, very nice, out of that. and you're going to come to the other side. So those of you who have done yoga, you know one side's easier to balance on than the other. There's no rhyme or reason for it, um, but it is true. So we're going to stand on the right foot now. You want to look at something that's not moving. Should have said that the first time around. I'm sorry. And you might do kickstand again, left toes on the floor. Heel is just above the right ankle. You might come to your calf. You might come to your inner thigh. Okay. Hands are at heart. So you're looking at something that's not moving. Your gaze is still. The eyes are still. You might lift your arms into the air. So just know the more movement you introduce, the more challenging it becomes. And slowly release out of that. Very nice. All right, so we are going to come back down onto the floor. If you want your water, grab your water. And once you get there to the floor, you're going to come all the way back to your back. I'll give you guys a few moments here to get there. Great. All righty. So left leg's going to come straight onto the mat. You want to flex your foot. So you're pushing out through your heel. Bring your right knee in towards the chest. And we're coming into a spinal twist here. So the left hand's going to grab that right knee. Right arm's going to reach out to the side, palm down. As you exhale, you're going to twist. You're going to let that right hip come up off the floor. And you're just bringing the knee across the body to a point that feels comfortable and also to the point where your right shoulder is still on the ground. Okay. If your right shoulder's way up off the ground, then your knee has gone too far across your body. You just need to bring it back a little bit. Good. Back to center. Release. Switch sides. Right leg long. Push through the heel. Left knee into the chest. Right hand grabs that left knee, left arm out to the side, palm down. As you exhale, twist. Keep the left shoulder on the ground. Beautiful. Bring it back to center. Release. And you will come into Shavasana. Shavasana is the final resting pose. We'll be here about 3.5, 4 minutes. So it's kind of the same from where we started. If your low back is tight, if it's uncomfortable, then you're going to keep your knees bent, right? You might even let your knees rest on each other and your feet come a little wider. It's called constructive rest pose. You might put a bolster, pillow underneath, or you might come to full Shavasana with the legs straight, the arms by your sides, palms up. I tend not to talk quite as much in Shavasana. It is seen as a time to let all the energy that you opened up throughout the practice, through the moving of the asanas, the poses, to let all that energy disperse. And then finally to seal. So you breathe, you relax, you get heavy. One of the lovely benefits of taking a yoga class at home is that when it's time to come out of Shavasana, if you're in a spot where you don't want to come out and you feel really comfy and you just want to keep laying there, you can. So if that's what you want to do right now, ignore everything I'm about to say. Otherwise, if you are coming out and returning, wiggle your fingers and your toes, and you'll roll to your side, push yourself all the way up. Oh, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Wonderful job filling up your cup today and putting yourself first, having gratitude for your own well being. So, peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, peaceful intentions. Namaste.